Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be going through and ranking the best cards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Try to mix up this list a decent amount so that it's not just all the good cards, or I guess the highest tier cards at the top. It's kind of annoying that this is how 2K does it this year, but for whatever reason, this does seem to be the way that the tier list works. It's not 2K's fault, it's tier maker's fault, but this is how the tier maker tier lists work this year. I don't know why, but it puts all these cards of the same tier back to back instead of mixing it up. I wish there was a way. Maybe there is a way to randomize it and I just don't know about it, but either way, it would be nice to have the ability to just be a little bit more randomized with this type of list. But either way, you know what? It is what it is, and we are going to make it work. So hopefully that's randomized enough for y'all. Before we hop into it and start ranking, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. Upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, we're going to start off with the dark matter, and this is, again, the 45 best cards in the game. Keep that in mind. Now, there may be a few guys not on this list that I didn't include that you really like, and if that's the case, leave a comment. I'll try to let you know where I'd put them. But MJ's not going higher than B tier, and I do not care that he has a dark matter. I'm going to get flack for this just to start off the video. I'm right. His jumper is not elite. It's the facts. When you think about the card at a competitive level, and remember, I am ranking these cards and how they will perform competitively. I don't care that MJ is, in some of y'all's minds, the greatest player of all time. In 2K, his jumper's not that great. He does everything else really well. He's got high level movement. He's a stud, but his jumper's not that good. Even among the best cards in the game, there are several shooting guards I'd take over him. I think B tier is totally fair. Jason Kidd is elite defensively, but in all honesty, does he give me anything different than a guy like Diamond Lonzo Ball, Diamond Marcus Smart, Diamond Alex Caruso would do? The answer is no. He's only got a 75 driving dunk as well. His jumper is not incredibly elite, and while he is awesome defensively, he doesn't have great sigs. Like, overall, he's a fine card, but on a list of the best cards, fine ain't cutting it. I mean, I guess I could put him C tier, but I gotta have some lower tier guys in this list. So you know what? I'm leaving him in the D tier, and I think we're gonna leave it there. Klay Thompson, super good shooter. Even with his release only on normal, it's still a good jump shot, and he's awesome defensively. He's not a freak athlete as a slasher. He doesn't have a ton by way of shot creation, but I think C tier is probably the right spot for him. I wouldn't put him higher than that because he just doesn't do much when it comes to shot creation or slashing, but he's not a bad card. We just, again, this is the best cards in the game. I think C tier is the right spot for him. Akeem, I'm trying to be stingy on this list. I think B. I almost want to put him A. I don't think I can quite put him A. I feel like we probably have enough cards that are better than Akeem on this list to where B is probably the right spot, but he is a very good, one of the better pink diamond cards in the game. I feel like elite at power forward especially, has enough speed to really compete, and a good jumper as well. Like, I'm going to move Akeem to A. I think he's going to be low A, but I think we're going to leave him A regardless. He's very, very good. Giannis is S tier to me. The fact that he can play small forward especially really does unlock the card, but honestly, the more I see him used, the more I'm like, the jumper may not be great, but it's certainly not bad. He's an elite slasher, incredible defender, massive size. Everything about the card is really nice. I think he's a stud. Ja Morant, very fun card to use, but sigs are not great, and he's only 6'2". He has a couple flaws. I don't think I'm putting him D tier still. I got several point guards left on this list that I think are worse than Ja Morant, but to me, C tier is still probably as high as I can go with the card. Zach LaVine, I'm going A tier. Don't think well, nah, I lied. I'm going S tier. I might have 3 point guards in S tier. Zach LaVine will probably be one of them. He's very, very good. He's just so good as a slasher. He's got a top tier drag back, and his jumper is incredible, and he's solid defensively, and he's got decent size. Like, just, there are very few point guards in the game who give you all that stuff. Zach LaVine is so solid. He's such a good card. I think S tier is probably fair for him as well. AD, probably gonna be another power forward S tier card alongside Giannis. High level jump shot, does everything well stat and badge wise. I mean, speed is good. Everything you want to guard against some of these bigger power forwards, he's going to be able to do that as well. Overall, very solid. I think S tier is right. Embiid, he's like a slightly worse Akeem, a little bit slower. I also don't like his jumper quite as much. That's more so personal preference. But if I have Akeem low A, I think that means Embiid has to be high B. Feels about right. Embiid is very, very good, and I think I would put him A tier, but I don't think I would put him, or I think I'd put him B tier. I could argue A. I think B is the right spot for him, though, to be totally honest. Dark Matter, Dr. J, you are going in the S tier, but in all honesty, so is your Pink Diamond. Really, did I even need to include both these cards in this list? No, I did it anyway, I guess, but they're the same card. They're literally, just buy the Pink Diamond. I don't know why I even included the Dark Matter. I should pretend that card doesn't exist because there's no reason you should buy them. They're both incredible, obviously, and they do the same thing, in all honesty. There, you will not notice a difference. The animations are the exact same. The stats and badges are not significant enough to make a huge difference. I think S tier for both of them is totally fair. But I really like this Bob McAdoo card. He has a very, very, very elite jump shot. He's also super fast at his position and an incredible athlete. He is legitimately a top tier option at the power forward position, and I will stand by that. I love this card, and I think he's legitimately A tier. I know he's not as big of a name as a lot of these other guys, but I think legit A tier, and I'm not kidding. Steph Curry, I'm sorry, you're D tier. He doesn't have the great defense. He doesn't have great slashing, and honestly, besides his escape, his movement isn't that great either. He can be fun to use, but he's just not that good. I think he's D tier, and I think that's totally fair. Wilt Chamberlain, amazing, amazing size, rebounding, dunking, speed, not jump shot though. He's 63 ball, and in all honesty, I honestly at power forward would rather have a guy like Hakeem. At center, you could make an argument for Wilt. I still think I'd probably lead Hakeem, honestly. Like, I think I'm going Wilt and B tier because the jumper's so mid and he's only got a 63 ball. This might, again, be one of those ones where people are like, you don't know what you're talking about. Number one, it's my opinion. Number two, his jumper is not good and his 3 ball is low, and that does matter. He's a very viable, very good card, but I think B tier is the right spot for him. Vince Carter, high level jump shot, but not unbelievable. He's got decent, but not great movement, a good fade, but he's not like a game breaking defender or anything. Again, best cards on the list. Like, he's not quite as good as MJ. I think MJ's B. I think Vince is C. I think that's probably fair. Sean Marion, you're going to go B for me. Really good defender, fast jump shot. It's a little janky, but it is fast. He's a very good athlete, and honestly, just overall not a bad card. He's got tray escape as well, which does help a bit with his shot creation ability. I like the card. I think B tier is the right spot for him. Greg Oden, I'm going A tier with Hakeem. I love that card. He feels to me like Wilt, Kareem, guys like that on the interior in terms of player build and defense and rebounding, stuff like that. Not to mention his jumper is money. Dwight base this year is actually good. It's Dwight's upper that kind of makes his jumper mid, and Greg Oden has Kemba upper instead, which is a very, very good upper to his jumper. He's a really nice card. I think A tier for sure for him. Wemby is a duh S tier. I don't think that one ever had to be asked. Honestly, like, obviously he's the best center in the game. Uncontestable jumper, got good speed at 7'4". He's a glitch. He's the best for sure. Like, no doubt about it. If I have Marion and B, I think I got to go X-Man and A, kind of towards the back end of A again, but very, very complete card who's got decent size at small forward. He's a great defender and a great slasher and a very good jumper. I think A tier is the right spot for X-Man. I really do. I think that's the right spot for him as a card. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, just like Wilt Chamberlain, it's going to annoy y'all, but I'm only putting him B. Lower 3-ball rating, bad jump shot. That's it. Does everything else well. The jumper's baited and the 3-ball rating is low, and I think that's fair to say. I mean, they're both good cards. They have similar speed, like both 89 and 90. So very good cards, yes, but I think also B tier is probably fair. I would take McAdoo, Oden, and Hakeem over them, and I'm dead serious. Jaren Jackson Jr. going B. I really like the card. I really do. I mean, his jumper's nice. He's got good speed. He's great defensively. He's good enough as an athlete. If you wanted to argue him higher than B, you could. He's one of the best diamond cards in the game. I have one, to be fair, with every Hoff badge and a couple of really good legend badges, and he's one of my favorite cards. I legitimately start him still. He's that good. And I think B tier is totally fair. And honestly, if you wanted to argue higher than that, like you could, and I wouldn't be mad at you. Clyde Drexler, can't rhythm shoot with him. Similarly to Vince, not unbelievably elite at anything besides slashing, but a good card. His jumper is really nice with the button. For whatever reason, it just doesn't work with rhythm shooting. I think C tier is right though, honestly. So him and Vince are both going to go in that C tier. That feels like the right spot for him. I'm going to go Raid to A tier. Low A. Jumper could be, even on very quick, it's not great. But his jump, I mean, having Kyrie dribble style helps a bit. Again, movement could be a little better. Slashing is elite, speed is elite, defense is elite. Jumper on very quick is definitely better. When you compare him to the best point guards in the game, Levine is better. Yes, Levine's an S tier guy though. I think low A is fair for Wade, although maybe high B is better. I don't really know. Grant Hill, I'm going low B. I wish his jumper was a little better. Honestly, I thought it was really good. It's nice and smooth, but the problem is it seems tough to green. Like, the green window on it's kind of small. That's the biggest issue with the card. He's got Kemba escape. He's got a decent dribble style. He's a great slasher, and he's a very good defender. On paper, he's amazing. I just think realistically, the jumper's a little inconsistent, and to me, that puts him in that B tier again when you're looking at the best cards in the game. Penny Hardaway obviously is still S tier. Darius Garland dribble style on a 6'7" point guard with a 90 driving dunk and good defense. He's the most complete point guard guard in the game. The only flaw with him is his jumper isn't great, but honestly, I like the jumper a little better, I think, than a lot of other people do, and I think he's S tier, legitimately. Very good card. Bernard King, you're going S tier as well. He and Dr. J are the two best shooting guards in the game. He's not quite as good as Dr. J to me, but he's not far off. Curry escape, insane jumper, elite slasher, not bad defensively. Very, very good. I think S tier as well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I'm going with that A tier for him. Smooth jumper, good defender, standing dunks nicely. I really like him a lot all the way around. I think when you think top tier point guard, to me, SGA is right at the top of the list. I really like the card, and I like his size a lot. I think he dunks the ball so well. Honestly, I kind of like him more than Propass Wade. As crazy as that may be to say, I'm starting to not like this Wade card as much. Oscar Robertson, is he really worse than Wade? I'm giving him A tier as well. Maybe I'm getting a little too generous with these ratings, or maybe I should just move them both down to B tier. I don't know, but Oscar, he just gets every single badge in the game. He's 6'5". He's got a good jump shot. His defense is very solid. His movement could be a little better, but it's not bad. He's only got an 80 driving dunk. Probably the biggest critique of the card is the 80 driving dunk. But again, like, he's super solid. He's got no real significant flaws. I feel like totally fine with A tier. Like, that doesn't feel wrong at all. Paul George, really, really good jump shot. I think he's still C though when you compare him to the other guys. Like, is he better than MJ or Grant Hill? In my opinion, probably not, but elite slasher, good jumper, great defender, good escape too, but the rest of his movement isn't good, but the escape's good. Like, I don't know, man. He's been around for a long time, and yet I still really like the card. The more I think about it, the more I might take him over Clyde and Vince. I think I'm going to go C. That feels like the right spot for him. Franz Wagner, you're not Bernard King and Dr. J level, but you're not that far off. He is A tier, in my opinion, the best. Well, not even my opinion, just by far the best free shooting guard in the game. That part is not even close. Definitely A tier for Franz, in my opinion. That feels right for sure. Kawhi Leonard, I'm also giving that A tier spot, other A tier shooting guard next to Franz Wagner. Elite defender, has his own behind the back as well, which is the best behind the back in the game. Same one that guys like Julius Erving have. Kawhi's a beast for me. Definitely A tier. Really good card. Ron Artest, better than Paul George and those guys, in my opinion, to me. I think he's going to be the last B tier shooting guard. He's very, very good when it comes to his jumper. He's got Pro 2 fade. He's very good defensively, and he's a good slasher as well. He's a card who doesn't miss a ton. Honestly, just not super flawed. Feel like B tier is the right spot for him. I'm giving Shaq A tier mainly because he's 7'1" with like basically 99 speed, 99 strength, 99 vert, 99 everything. Like, he's got the freakiest athletic ability in the game. He, very similarly to guys like Wilton Kareem, bad jump shot, not a high 3-ball rating. He's just so dominant at everything else. I'm still giving him A tier, but he's not S. No chance. David Robinson will get the last S tier spot for a center on this list. Although I guess I did forget about one other guy who we'll get to, but he is an S tier center, top 3 center in the game. Does everything well. Jumper's solid, 90 something speed. Well, I think about 90 speed. Maybe it's even 89, but still definitely good enough, and a very good card. Just does everything well. I think S tier for him. I think Cade actually also gets S tier. I think he's top 3. I think it's him, Penny, and Levine. Cade just has an awesome jumper and tray escape and a decent dribble style. He does not have a good fade. That's Cade's big flaw. Honestly, it's Levine's big flaw too. They're just so good everywhere else and have such size and defense and releases and all that type of stuff. And each of them have something good about their movement at least as well. To me, I just can't overlook it. I think S tier is fair. Jason Tatum, you are the most mediocre card, I swear. Like, he's good. He just has no movement at all. Great slasher, great shooter, great defender, no movement. Can't put him higher than B tier. I just don't think he's that good. Russell Westbrook, I'm sorry. I'm putting you D tier, and I don't feel bad about it. His jumper is bad. He can't really rhythm shoot with it. He's just not good at all. Honestly, I might only have 3 D tier guys, but I think Russ is one of them for sure. I do not like that card. KP, congratulations on the 3rd S tier center spot. 2nd best big in the game, in my opinion, after Wemby at the center spot. KP is elite. Amazing jumper, great size. Plays fast enough, big enough, and good enough defensively. I really like the card, and I think he's definitely S tier. I don't have a problem with that at all. Dirk, I'm going B tier. I don't think I'd take him over McAdoo, Odin, Akeem, guys like that. Like, at the power forward position, am I taking over McAdoo, Akeem, Shaq? Probably not. Is he on a similar level to guys like Kareem and Wilt, though? Sure. And Embiid. I mean, very, very solid card. Again, I think B is totally fair. He's got good speed. He's much better this year as a whole. He's a really, really solid card. LeBron, you're also going S tier. I have a lot of S tier guys. I guess I have 2 Dr. J, so that does cut down on it a little bit, but a lot of S tier cards on this list. But LeBron, I mean, he's the best small forward in the game, in my opinion. I'd take him over Giannis. His jumper's amazing. His fade is really good. The only problem with the card is that he doesn't have a great dribble style. That's it. His pink diamond would still be S tier too, though. Like, obviously LeBron, he's been the best card pretty much all year, and he still is, in my opinion. Paulo Banchero, do it all small forward. I'm putting him right next to Jared. Two best diamond cards in the game. They're both B tier. He gets every badge in the game. Paulo does. His jumper's nice. He's a great defender. He's a great slasher. Doesn't have much by way of movement, but still, I think B tier is totally fair. Rudy Gay, going high A tier for him, and I mean very high A. A defensively badged Rudy Gay is S tier in my opinion. His jumper's great, his fade is great, his movement is solid. Wish he was a little better defensively. That's probably the biggest critique of the card I could make. I almost still want to put him S tier though, because I like the card so much, but I think A is where I'm going to go with him. Dwight Howard, I guess I'm going to go where Kareem, Wilt, guys like that are with Dwight. He's a little better shooter than those guys are, but he's also a little smaller. Speed is great. I like McAdoo better personally, just because McAdoo's jumper's elite. Dwight's is not. Dwight does have better stats and badges slightly, but I'm taking the side of the jumper every time. So I think B tier is right for him. Devin Booker, my opinion swings on this card on a consistent basis, but I'm actually going to give him A tier because his shot creation, high level dribble style, high level crossover, incredible fade, and elite jump shot. There are very few cards in my team who can be primary ball handlers the way that Devin Booker is. And I think that skill set still puts him A tier in my opinion. And then we have Zion, whose jumper isn't great. He's also a little undersized at the 3. It doesn't have great SIGs. He is the last C tier card in this list. So yes, a very top heavy list of cards on this list for sure. Would be interested to hear y'all's thoughts on it in the comment section down below. I'm sure I left some guys off you'd like to hear my thoughts on as well. So comment that as well. And if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. And I appreciate y'all. Peace.